Hello again. President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address fails women and children in the country. That's according to civil rights organization Action Society. He says Ramaphosa said nothing new last night to address gender-based violence and femicide. Well, to get more of their views, we are joined now via Zoom by the spokesperson of Action Society, Kelly Baloyi. Ms. Baloyi, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. I saw your press release yesterday, as soon as the president had finished delivering the State of the Nation address. I mean, you didn't mince your words. I mean, you're saying the president once again failing victims of GBVF, dedicating 9 sentences, and then it's a repeat of last year's lip service. I mean, very, very harsh there, or is that justified?
Dan, wow, last night was for gender-based violence activists and civil rights organizations. We were quite disappointed with the amount of sentences, time that the president spent on speaking on gender-based violence. And I feel that that is the same feeling that most South Africans feel about what the president or the time that the president spent on gender-based violence. Dan, we can say that gender-based violence is becoming or could be the biggest human rights violation of our era. In the financial year of 2018 to 2019, 52,420 sexual offences were reported, 6,300 cases were seen in court, and 4,724 cases were successfully prosecuted. So that is about 9.1% conviction rate. Also between October 2020 and September 2021, over 41,000 rape cases were reported, amounting to 150 rapes per day. And, you know, we see that only 10% of actual rapes that occur is being reported. Additionally to that, we have about more than 8 women murdered every single day.
The numbers,
is the stats that we are sitting with right now.
The numbers are really horrendous, as we know. But, I mean, you also say in your statement that since the State of the Nation address of 2021, there seems to be a lot of talk and not enough action in addressing the scourge of GBVF. The president, though, last night talking about the new laws that have changed. I think there's 3 GBV-related bills that have now been signed into law. They've been amended. But you don't see that as enough.
Yes, so the 3 gender-based violence bills that was signed into law, which was the Criminal and Related Matters Amendment Bill, the Criminal Law, Sexual Offences and Related Matters Amendment Bill, and the Domestic Violence Amendment Bill. Also, Section 38D1 was also signed into law, but that was after many years, about 7 years, of fighting and advocacy from civil organizations and NGOs. So to think about it, that the government actually ignored these cries from these organizations for 7 years. So though we do welcome and we do see this as a big step in fighting gender-based violence and fighting the scourge of gender-based violence, it is a little too late, but we do welcome it.
So what's missing? I mean, from last night, what would you have heard him say yesterday?
Dan, on behalf of Action Society, we believe that we wish the president could give us steps, systems, mechanisms, tell us exactly how these laws that he signed into law will help the victim. How will they access these laws? Also, what is important is access, like I said, and education. Do the people on the ground know what is their rights? Do they know what is the law that can help them deal with the scourge of gender-based violence? Another thing that was also mentioned last night, he spoke about the DNA backlog that went from 210,000 DNA samples to about 58 1,000 DNA samples, but we would also like to know what is the steps and how can we achieve to eradicate the DNA backlog based on the date that the Minister of Police, Bheki Cele, gave. He said by November 2023 that this DNA backlog will be eradicated. We would have liked to know how, what will the new steps be put in place in order to eradicate the DNA backlog, because DNA is one of the most powerful crime-fighting tools. And without that, I'm not sure that many of our victims can find justice.
Yeah, you also point out that he missed an opportunity to talk about the problem of sexual and violent misconduct by police officers and officials in the public sector. I mean, this coming on the back of just the other day, an on-duty police officer shooting and killing a nurse at Tembisa Hospital in Gauteng. And you pointed quite correctly that this is a serious problem because the very same police are the ones who are supposed to deal with GBF cases.
Yes, definitely, Dan. And additionally to the Munene case in Tembisa, we also have the case that happened in Piketberg here in Western Cape with Natasha, where her boyfriend allegedly shot her in front of a 10-year-old son. And that is what happened in this year, in 2022. This is the cases that we are facing. Also with public officials, there is many cases that is coming to light right now with public officials that need to be dealt with. It is a vital issue that we need to speak about. What is being done towards SAPS officials that have cases of sexual misconduct or criminal records or any case of violence, public officials as well? Why do we find them in such critical and such pivotal positions to protect our most vulnerable citizens of this country, but they themselves have these cases stacked up against them? So we would have loved to know from the president, how can we deal with this issue? Because it is a serious issue and it cannot go on longer like this, Dan.
Yeah, and you hoped, you say in a statement, he would have announced plans to reform the leadership. I mean, there's a lot of questions currently and unhappiness around the leadership of the SAPS.
Yes, definitely. We are calling for a reformed leadership. And he did mention that there will be changes that will be done. We will foresee changes being done, but we need changes to be done yesterday already because SAPS is in dire need for reform. We also know that there is a serious need for psychological evaluation from many of our SAPS members, SAPS officials, and that comes from leadership. You need to be aware what is going on within your department and trying to fix it. And that is only one matter because I'm speaking for what is affecting victims on the ground. That is a very important aspect as from the leadership point of view. Do they see these issues within the department? And if they see these issues within the department, what are they doing to rectify it?
Okay, thank you very much for your time this afternoon, Ms. Kelly Baloyi. She's, of course, from Action Society, who are saying they're very disappointed about what the president had to say last night regarding gender-based violence.